Hey guys, this is Josh from Grapplezilla, and today I've got an amazing guest, a very good friend of mine named Everton de Ghost Vieira, also known as Coach Alemao in Brazil. He's one of the top MMA wrestling coaches in Brazil, specifically in Sao Paulo. He's coached many UFC fighters, many jungle fight fighters, many MMA fighters from Brazil who've gone around the world. He's an intelligent guy when it comes to how to adapt your wrestling to MMA. And here we go. Alemao, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm fine. First of all, I'm very happy.
Fantastic. Now, Alemao, how did you get involved in wrestling from the beginning? How did you start?
Like every Brazilian guy, I start to train jiu-jitsu, and my professor, my coach, uh, Carlos, told me one day, "Hey, you good on stand? Do you like the takedowns? Why do do you need to call? You need to find a professional." And what's a professional? A professional is like a wrestler. And I try to find a wrestler to start to train wrestling. And the first coach I find is a woman, Fernanda Perez. And I trained with Fernanda for maybe 3 years. It's a good wrestler. But in freestyle wrestling, just double, single, and things like that. Uh, I have after that I have to opportunity to train with American. The name of Keep uh, Campbell, his name.
Mhm.
After that, he opened my mind for the wrestling, and I started to try to change emails with the Campbells, and I started to work with what Campbell told me, showed me. He sent me videos, and I tried to test this in my students and my partners. After that, I start to fight wrestling competition, and in a short story, after that, I have opportunity to train with Edward, Armenian guy. He
Oh
showed
yeah.
me how to train Greco-Roman. It's a new word for me because I was a wrestler, but a freestyle wrestler. After that, I have two idea to go to Russia to train Greco-Roman wrestling or wrestling, bariba. And in a short story, that my way in wrestling.
You know, I've I've seen a lot of your wrestling content, and you have an amazing way of teaching people. You're very methodical, very patient, and I think
Yeah.
this is the key. And you know how to explain the fine details. Now, do you find that because you're in Sao Paulo, and obviously
Yes.
jiu-jitsu is huge there, do you find
Yes.
it's difficult sometimes to teach jiu-jiteros in comparison to, let's say, non-jiu-jiteros how to wrestle for MMA?
I like that name, Jiu-Jitsu.
Jiu-jitero.
Yeah, yeah. Jiu-Jitsu or Jiu-Jitsu guys
Jiu-jitsu.
have a problem not to learn, but with the mind to open. Because here in Brazil, every jiu-jitsu guy think only jiu-jitsu can save. Only jiu-jitsu is enough, and we know it's not enough. We need a wrestling with jiu-jitsu and jiu-jitsu with wrestling. But the more difficult it's not about technique. The guy is a super athlete. The guys can learn, but we need to make the guy think that he need to open the mind for sprawl, for the takedown defense, because everybody think about guillotine and pull the guard and sweep. It's good. It's very good. Uh, it's a jiu-jitsu fight, but for MMA, you need to think about Habib style, Slam style. Use the jiu-jitsu, but use the jiu-jitsu in the form that the best part of jiu-jitsu is submission. The best part of
For sure.
jiu-jitsu is submission. And the best part, the wrestling is the takedowns. Of course, depend of the opponent. You can use the takedown defense, for example. But it's not the problem. Answer your question. The problem is not a jiu-jitsu guy or jiu-jitero. It's when have the close mind, only jiu-jitsu. Like I think Charles is a very good fighter, one of the best
Charles
fighters in the
Bronx
world.
Oliveira.
Yeah, Charles
Mhm.
Oliveira. But I think he wait so much to start to train wrestling. When he face to face like a guy like Islam Mahashev, no way.
I think I think you're right. I think that not just with jiu-jiteros or jiu-jitsu guys. I think all martial arts when they come in, they feel threatened when they have something new. And I think this is a big problem. And right now in MMA, I think the reliance on going to the back immediately, even though they're good, like Charles Oliveira, uh, it puts you in actually a worse position because from the judge point of view and from the view of the ground and pounds, you're already at a bad situation compared to the others. You know, now out of just curiosity, how big is the wrestling scene in Brazil? Is it as big as jiu-jitsu? I
Um, uh, Difficult question. Um, Man, I think 10 years ago, wrestling here is like a baby. Now,
Yeah.
with the MMA hype, because here in Brazil we like MMA. I think
Oh yeah.
wrestling is a kid, a children with
Yeah,
comp- with how to speak a comparison with
comparison. Yeah,
uh,
with jiu-jitsu.
yeah, with the no, with the USA or Russia. Wrestling
Oh
here
yeah.
is
I mean,
you know. I think
do they
everybody asking me when the Brazil will have Olympic champ. I think in 20 years.
okay. I actually think it'll be earlier than that. And I think it'll first come maybe in Greco, not freestyle. But what's larger there, freestyle or Greco? What's more practice?
Equal here, equal,
Oh,
no different.
okay, that's good. Now,
That's very good.
it is very good because most countries or most areas of a country will generally go to one style. Um, Even in Russia, for example, they're great in both styles, but it depends on the area and region you're. I mean, if you're in Dagestan, it's
That
freestyle. If you're in
that
Novosibirsk, it's going
that's
to be Greco.
Josh, is that's the point. That's the point. I try to teach wrestling. You know, we talk a lot of wrestling, and you know that I like wrestling,
Yeah.
freestyle wrestling, Greco-Roman wrestling. I fight all both styles. But at USA, I trained with some American. They they don't like Greco, and the Russian
Mm,
guys, uh, they like Greco and
mm,
freestyle and
yeah,
sambo. Because of that, I think there are better, more rounded wrestling. You know, you understand my
yeah,
English? It's
yeah, for
a
sure.
better. For example, again, Habib Russian style. Habib Zlan. This guy can put you down with a foot sweep or a high crotch or body lock, whatever. A guy like Bonico, single, double, high crotch is good. But for MMA, you need be against the cage, in the cage. Greco-Roman is very important.
Do you think also because of the height of the stance? Like, if you notice, Russian wrestlers, they generally even the freestyle guys stand higher. So when you go to MMA, you have more of a
Yeah,
natural progression.
yeah. Uh, when I fight, I was fighter. Many people ask me, "Hey, you are a Greco-Roman guy, but you fight in freestyle?" Because I fight in a stand-up position. Because I
Mhm.
train Greco and train freestyle. But when I was fighting freestyle, my position is like a Greco-Roman guy.
And also, you're a big guy too. You're a heavyweight, no?
Yeah, and now in my vacation, for sure, a lot of food. but
Now, I,
is natural because I'm when I have 20 years, my weight is about how to speak in English, 110, 100, 110.
110 kilos.
Yeah, 110. It's in when I was 20 years, natural. When
So,
I was a fighter, my weight is about 130, 100,
okay,
and
130.
yeah, because of this, I have a body, I have a conditioning to fight in a Greco-Roman.
Perfect condition, perfect size for it too.
Yeah, I fight because I love Greco and freestyle. So if you ask me, what do you prefer, Greco-Roman or freestyle wrestling? I don't have the question. I don't have an answer for you.
You're like me. Same.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
They're both beautiful and they both have their, rhythm. That's the thing. It's Greco. It's got a different rhythm. It's a beautiful art as well. You know. In
Did you see?
do you,
Sorry, did you
hmm?
see the Bonico comment about Greco-Roman?
No, I didn't. What did both say?
He said that Greco-Roman are stupid. The rules of no leg attack.
Really? I would have
Yeah.
to disagree. I think Greco-Roman. I'll tell you. I think
Uh,
Greco-Roman
Greco-Roman. When you
is not
train
stupid at all.
Greco-Roman wrestling, yeah. When you train Greco-Roman style, you teach a lot how to use your hand
Absolutely.
to
And the foot
control,
position of the
hook.
hips.
Yeah, yeah, hips. Yeah, hands and hips. When you train freestyle, you learn how to move your feet and
Yes,
do
exactly.
a lot of fast attack in the
Pass
leg.
attack, yeah.
Yeah, but
Also, I find Greco where you have
do
to
you
push,
do you,
push, you know?
yeah, it's good for MMA, perfect for MMA.
Very good. Perfect. Yeah.
Uh, John Jones, Cain Velasquez, Habib, these guys can can put you down with a single leg or a high crotch, or put you
Yeah.
down in a suplex, or push you against the cage and pressure, use the dirt boxing.
It's very important for MMA.
If you see, for example, guys like Weidman is a good wrestler, right? Chris Weidman
Very
is a
good.
good wrestler,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he don't know how to use the clinch, and it's difficult when do you need to shot, right? Shot,
Shoot, yeah,
shoot,
for sure.
shoot, right? And a lot of guys in a MMA fight, because go to the leg is more energy. You need to mix it up.
I actually agree with you. I think that's one of the reasons John Jones, I think, was so dominant was because of that Greco. And when he trained with Greg Jackson, sorry, I'm very tired. When he trained with Greg Jackson, when they put the stand up to him for striking, it was a natural fit to his Greco. And then, I mean, he just was smashing.
George, I think, do you watch John Jones against Daniel Cormier?
Yeah,
Do
for
you
sure.
watch?
Great match. Yeah, yeah.
Uh, I think I watched this fight for 10, 20, 20 times.
Yeah.
John Jones used the Greco-Roman to stop the freestyle wrestling of Daniel Cormier of DC.
Exactly.
Because in a in a medium distance, it's good for DC to box, use your box, and go to the leg. So John John used the long distance or super short distance. You know, in a
Yeah.
long distance, good because John is big.
Big, long guy.
When
Yeah.
DC come, oh, so too short, too close. Now is a Greco-Roman, and he can use the grip, the elbow, and all your skills. And that way he beat Corman.
Alemao. So that said, how is wrestling for MMA different than regular wrestling? And I'll tell you why I'm asking. Because if you looked at the wrestling pedigree of Daniel Cormier, it's you can't even compare it to John Jones. I'm not saying John Jones doesn't have a great wrestling pedigree, but they are different levels. But in MMA wrestling, it was Jones was better. So what is the difference
Yes,
in your opinion?
good question, difficult question. I think it's now in the future we can think about Bonico and Chimaev. Yeah,
Yeah,
Chimaev.
Chimaev for sure.
Hanzak Chimaev, right?
Khamzat, yeah, Chimaev, yeah, yeah.
Hanzak Chimaev. It's one American and a Russian guy. I think the first part is that style. Wrestling, American wrestling is good, but we we see that a guy that mix. Do you see Shimaev now is training Greco-Roman wrestling? Did you see in the videos?
Yeah, yeah, he's going all out into wrestling, Greco freestyle. Also, he was in
Yeah,
Chechnya and
for
Dagestan doing.
for
He's
for for the Whitaker against the Whitaker in the Whitaker camp for the Whitaker fight. He trained for freestyle wrestling with one of the best freestyle wrestlers coach in the world of
Sa-
the brothers Saitchev,
Saitievs.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Buvasar and actually
and
Adam was the one who coached most, and Buvasar worked on his mentality.
yeah, yeah, and now he trained with the Greco-Roman guys. I think
Oh yeah, he was in
that
Georgia too.
I, I
Now,
I don't know the place, but he
yeah,
trained Greco-Roman. So, in my opinion, this is the first step to change the regular wrestling to MMA wrestling. The first step,
Mhm. The first step
mix
being
it all.
adding Greco, mixing. Yes, I actually agree with you.
Yeah. You ask me about jiu-jitsu guys. All right.
Hmm.
I answer you. The difficult is the mind of jiu-jitsu guys, but a jiu-jitsu guy is about technical part is difficult when he they don't know how to use our hand, how to fight in clinch.
Yeah.
So in a to try to finish my the answer about your question is Greco-Roman. I teach wrestling to the Greco-Roman to the freestyle for MMA.
Okay, got
I
you.
don't
So
I,
you
I
mix it.
don't
Yeah.
I don't use freestyle. If the guy I go to MMA, I go to MMA. All right, we will start in the clinch. How to use our hand, how to use your collar tie, hooks, and razor. After that, we go to the leg to defend. So I think that's the the first part
Hmm.
to the to do the different for the regular because freestyle wrestling like a guy with very good George Jordan Burrow.
Burrows, yeah.
Yeah, it's a beast, right? But
Beast.
it's a yeah, it's a beast. But it's a difficult style to change for MMA, I think.
I actually agree with you because he's low. He's all the time low.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
And especially if he goes against someone who's really good at submissions with a good guard, it can be problematic. We saw that in Paul Craig against Bo Nickel. Bo Nickel didn't want to go to the guard because go to the ground because Craig's guard was so good. It is very
Yeah,
true. Yeah.
yeah.
And do you find that so your first stage that you do is you introduce them to Greco. At what time do you bring in more of the freestyle leg attacks, or do you always kind of work off the Greco for the entrance and then to the freestyle leg attacks?
Uh, you can repeat the question?
So when you teach, do you, of course you start with Greco, but when
Yes,
you go to the second stage, when you go to the next level, do you go
yes,
straight to freestyle, or do you take? It's always going to start with Greco, as in the tie-ups from a more elevated position, and then go into
yeah,
freestyle. So this is what you're doing. So,
yeah. I do it that way. But you're talking about the time to to move to
the
freestyle.
setup,
Sorry,
yes,
what's setup?
yeah. When do you? Yeah. When do you bring freestyle in to the Greco? This is the question.
It's about yeah. Now I understand. Uh, it's about feeling.
Okay.
It's about feeling. Every athlete, of course, I have a group, but every athlete show me that he's ready to the next
Okay,
level.
got you. Okay, so
If
but that
he,
I was gonna say, but that means you're a good coach because what you're doing is you're making it for every single athlete suited for them. So as a coach, you're really giving them a good service. You know.
yeah, because for example, I have a woman athlete. She was a Muay Thai fighter. It's very easy to teach Greco-Roman for that woman. Of course, Greco-Roman is a style of a man, but
Mm.
I teach Greco-Roman technique for her, and it's very easy. I don't change the the freestyle attacks, but I use freestyle defense. We work a lot of high cross defense, double leg takedown defense, and single. So that athlete is special. For example, she worked the freestyle defense because she kick a lot, and he need to take down know how to defend your leg. But I work the Greco-Roman to mix it up with the elbow.
Oh, okay. So, and also the stance is the same kind of height. Well, more or less the height. Now,
Yeah.
when how is MMA, in your opinion, evolving in Brazil compared to 10 years ago? Do you see an evolution now, especially the last 2 3 years?
A great evolution, soup evolution. Now, uh, everybody know to say wrestling because uh, here in Brazil we have a singer, uh, Wesley Safadão is a singer,
Mhm.
and when I say wrestling, people wrestling, no wrestling. They people remember of the singer.
Yeah.
Now, everybody knows uh, about wrestling. How to speak wrestling. Here, let me know. Let me speak. I was a fighter at maybe 10 years ago, and I was in a competition. I see the president, right?
Mhm.
President of not a president of Brazil, president
Okay.
of Federation
Federation of Wrestling.
Wrestling in Brazil, right?
Mhm.
I see Pedro, and I go to Pedro and say, "Hey man, how are you? You good, right?" In the competition with the singlet, right?
Singlet. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I told him, I speak to Pedro. Please talk to the all the coaches, all the athletes, all the everybody here in Brazil to speak wrestling, cause here, Josh, they people call wrestling of Greco-Roman wrestling. I will speak in Portuguese. Luta
Mhm.
livre,
Luta livre, sim.
luta greco-romana,
Greco-Roman,
uh,
yeah.
luta olímpica, Olympic wrestling. Very,
Mhm.
very, a lot of names. It is a confusion, right? And
Definitely.
Pedro say, all right. After that conversation with me, in the all interviews and all interviews on TV, whatever, the athletes start to say, I'm from wrestling, I train wrestling, and etc. And with a little bit uh, athlete in TV, in interview, or internet, or Facebook, speaking wrestling, or um, writing wrestling. Not don't matter their name. Wrestling. It's this start to fix the name here in
Yeah, I
Brazil.
know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you mean. We have this a similar thing in so in the like not Brazil, but in English speaking countries. When you say wrestling, they think of WWE, and it's very
Yeah,
difficult even when you research. So
yeah,
we,
little bit. Yeah, but
yeah,
here
it's a
we don't have that problem with WWE because WWE is not popular here, but it's similar.
yeah,
Similar.
yeah, and we have that problem. So when you say you wrestle, they think you're doing these elbow hits and everything, and you're walking in with music, and then you show them that it's Olympic wrestling or freestyle or Greco, and they say, "What is
Yeah.
that?" Um, so you know, you've had fighters all over the world, and you've gone to the UFC with your fighters, etc. What was
Yeah.
your biggest challenge as a coach going to these big events? Let's say the UFC. Did you find any big challenges going there?
Mm, big challenge. No, no, we don't have a problem about this. No.
Okay, okay, so I would imagine that because you seem to be a very professional guy. I've seen your. I mean, we've been friends for a long time. I've seen a lot of the videos you do. Always take a professional approach. Now, here's another question. You live in Sao Paulo.
Yes.
How it goes back to BJJ. How big is BJJ in Sao Paulo? Do you see gyms everywhere, or I mean,
Uh, jiu-jitsu, jiu-jitsu, very, very, very popular, very, very strong. You can, if you a student, because my students, the first thing I say when the guy start to MMA, I go, you need to
mhm,
train jiu-jitsu. I'm a wrestler, but I say to my student, you need to train wrestling. Find a striking coach. It's a MMA. It's a no wrestling. It's MMA. Is MMA. No, MMA is not wrestling. Is not grappling. Uh, because this, when I say to the guy, find a jiu-jitsu coach, find a jiu-jitsu gym. It's so easy. You can choice, because for example, in my city we have one, two, three, four gyms to decide. The other seat, Sorocaba, here, close to my seat, we have 10 10 genes to decide, so it's very easy.
true.
Here in Brazil it's very easy to decide. You can make a list of genes to decide what's better for you, for the distance, for the price.
Interesting. And do you have a lot of MMA events happening in Sao Paulo, in the area all the time?
uh this is growing. This is growing up very fast. uh we have four, one, two, three, four event with we have a jungle fight of Valide, and it's a good event now to fight to go to SC. We have LFA here in
Hmm.
Brazil, and we have another event, Thunder Fight is a good event too. Uh, so now, if the guy want to be a MMA fighter, it's no problem. A lot of events.
Is it better in Rio, the atmosphere, or is it better in Sao Paulo?
São Paulo is better.
Okay, because like 20 years ago, probably Rio was better than everyone kind of left Rio for the US.
Yes, yes. In that time, the things change a little bit.
Okay,
Now São Paulo,
that's
now São Paulo is a better location.
now you have a lot of. I mean, you watch the UFC, and now there's no doubt the Dagestanis and Georgians and Ossetians, Chechens, they're really dominating right now. And of course, you have Alex Poatan. He's also very dominant. But what a lot of the Brazilians, they're doing well, but not like they did 25 years ago. what is the biggest challenge to those Brazilians, to Brazilian MMA right now in dominating once again in the UFC? What could they do?
What's the difficult to you think about the Brazilian win in UFC?
Yeah, win the championships. That's what it is. Because before it was very
But
dominant, but
but
now it's
I think it's not about but now we have two champions. We have
true.
Pantoja and Alex. I think it's not like I say. I think it's not it's a natural, but Brazilian guys will be forever good MMA fighters.
I agree.
Of
I
course,
agree, and I
in the past we have Anderson Silva and with total domination. But now
total.
we have Alex. We now
Yeah,
have
Alex
Alex.
is
We have a
very
Pantoja. Yeah,
yeah,
and
Alex
I think the
specifically is
best
very
in the I think she won't fight, don't fight more, but I think the best woman fighter
Nunez.
is Amanda Nunes,
Wow, she was amazing. She really was a
and and,
talent.
she stopped fighting like a very similar to Habibi on the top.
I think that's the best way to go though, because you don't go through the big wars at the end that you get injuries. So this is maybe the best. And by the way, Alex Potan Pereira, he's very, very, very dominant, but he has some big challenges coming up. But I don't know. He seems that he has the right mentality for it, you know. And I think with guys like you teaching the future generations the wrestling, then they're going to come back and show like it's going to be very hard for a lot of the other countries that find a little more dominance now with the wrestling. You know. By the way, who are your favorite wrestlers in MMA? Because I know we've spoken that a long time.
Now Shimaev,
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
and
he's something else.
I don't know, but I think some things that Instagram or news about UFC trying to put Poitin against Shimaev. I don't know
Oh
if
boy,
it's
that would
real.
be. It's an interesting fight. You know, I have a friend who was training in Thailand, and he's also from he was actually from Azerbaijan, and he saw Chimaev and he said, "Listen." He saw him in real life. He goes, the guy is huge when he's walking off, not fighting. Huge in terms of, so maybe he has the size to do it, you know. But Poton is
Yeah.
not. I mean, Pereira is not a joke. Pereira's really got
Uh, in,
good
in
striking.
in
But
my personal, I don't want see this fight because I think for Brazil is good is
Chimaev,
bad. Sorry. Yeah, because maybe we will lost the belt, and I think, but I like Shimaev. I like to see Shimaev in the same weight, but fight for the belt against Dricus
oh yeah, that's an interesting fight because I think
or
Chimaev will win that
Street.
one.
For sure.
Or,
Yeah, I put my money.
yeah, yeah, on that one. And Strickland, you have two.
Yeah, let's see what's happened between Strickland and Dricus.
Drickus is tough, man. I think Drickus will take him. I think Drickus is because Drickus is also extremely technical grappler. Strickland, the thing is when he
I
gets
think
you in the
I think Dricos is a I think Dricos is a problem for the many fighters, but not for Shimaev because of style.
no, yeah, for Chimaev he's not. For Strickland, I think he will be. I think the only guy who could be really problematic for against Chimaev it would have to be someone who's a really top level striker. Just to catch him, if he, I mean, Chimaev's wrestling so good and so fast to take someone down. He's right now, I think, the top dog. You know, you have Tapuria, but Tapuria is lighter. But my opinion is top dog. You know, in in your experience, how many fights does a fighter need before they get to that level of UFC? When we're talking about a Brazilian fighter.
I have a idea. I try to start with the athlete is young. I try to start with a Malter fights. Okay, a Malter.
Mm-hmm. A Balter, like
No, no,
amateur,
no,
amateur.
amateur. Sorry,
Yes,
amateur
yes.
fight. Maybe eight, maybe 10, right?
Hmm.
And start the professional. If we have the opportunity to do that way, start the amateur. I think 4 or 6 professional fight with a win, of course. We can go to the athlete. The fighter can go to the UFC.
Okay, got you. Especially, I mean,
I
you're
now
also talking about Brazil, so
now
yeah.
this year I have two athletes, uh, Vinicius and Richard, two athletes with 8 fights, one lost,
Hmm.
seven win, one lost, and fighting at LFL,
Okay, got you.
sorry, LFA, right?
LFA. Okay,
LFA, and one of this guy is waiting for the contender opportunity.
okay, but which you'll probably get because they're always looking for good talents, right? So
Yeah,
you know, I think, in my opinion, right now, what's happening is I think so. Wrestling came, and now the Russians have a very big dominance because they have such a good uh, history of wrestling. But I do think that countries like Brazil will catch up. But what Brazilians are going to do, I don't think they're going to become the next Sadulaevs or this, but they're going to figure a way to mix it so it becomes waterproof, becomes perfect. And when that happens, it's going to be a scary time for everyone else, you know? So, um, Alemao, what do you want to tell
I
the audience? Go ahead.
sorry.
No, go ahead. I didn't hear.
I think you're talking about Russian, but I think sorry, the next country to that coming with full force will be the Chinese.
I agree.
Chinese,
The Chinese, yeah, and I think it's because of
yeah, the
Sanda.
Chinese.
I think
Yeah,
China is coming.
because because it's like It's like Olympic games. Uh, More UFC or MMA fight come more professional now, and they have Chinese guys have a discipline. They will work wrestling, jiu-jitsu, and I think in 5 years,
Yeah, I
will
agree.
Chinese guys and Chinese woman will be on the top fighting against Brazilian, against
I
Russian,
agree.
and American.
Yeah, I agree because there's a few reasons. I think the first is that they have an excellent martial art there called Sanda, and which teaches how to strike and how to throw together. And second is I
Yes,
think the professionalism that'll hit there. I interviewed a
it's a
guy, he's
good
a friend,
base.
it's a very good base. I
It's a
interviewed a
very good
guy,
base. Yep.
and also they're investing into their wrestling now in China. They're bringing in top coaches. I mean, lots of good coaches, and they're trying to get the whole country into wrestling. And what'll happen? The wrestling will get better, but naturally it'll go to the MMA. I think they'll be good, and I think after them, we'll see countries maybe like some of the stands, like Mongolia, more of the Kyrgyzstans, etc. They'll always be there, but China, I think, is going to be extremely tough. Uh, I definitely agree with you on there. And when that happens, I think we're going to see a lot of new stuff coming. Like there's going to be new strategies, new tactics. Like with Khabib and the Dagestanis, we saw that there was new tactics. The whole
Yeah,
ground game changed, everything. So I think with China, the whole stand-up game is going to change as well. This is my
George.
opinion. Yeah.
Agora let me uh, ask you, what do you
Hmm.
think the reason? Because now we have one more country with in one more country uh, power in wrestling, like Japan.
Yes. Well,
Do you have
yeah. I mean,
the answer? I don't have the answer. I have the
well,
question. Why?
I
What
have an
they
answer.
change? Yeah.
Okay, so Japan, if you're talking about wrestling itself, I think there was a few things. First of all, the Japanese in the lighter weights, for like not the heavyweights, have always been good, always technical. They have a lot of Olympic champs, world champs. Just because it's Japanese, the American audience isn't they if it's not an American champ or a Russian champ, they don't really know about it. But I think what happened is this. This is my thing. I think the first thing was that the Russians weren't really there. Okay, the ones who they fought with were Dagestanis and Ossetians that went to other countries, but those aren't the top picks. The second was the U.S. team. Um, I don't think it was the best U.S. team they had. Okay, and I think one of the reasons it's the passing of the guard. And on top of that, I think Japan really prepared well for this because prior to this, they had the Olympics there and they had all the investment. And it wasn't so much years until the next Olympic Games afterwards in Paris. So I think all this together. Now, the Japanese are highly technical, they really practice technique. And you could see it when they were wrestling everyone. They were just technically above. Um, but I wasn't so surprised because listen, in the women's, Japan is number one by far, and that's been historically. Japan is like the in football you have Brazil. In women's wrestling, Japan is the
Yes.
Brazil. If you would ask, if I were to say Japan, like before this last Olympics, I would say they're definitely in the top 10, probably in the top eight for wrestling. But this one did surprise me, and I think it had a lot to do with the fact that the Russians weren't allowed to go, and they were. It just was a very weird Olympics. But then again, the other question I put to you was not about Japan. How did the U.S. not do? They didn't get a gold in men's. Like that was a very big thing. I had a video on it, but I'd like to hear what you think. It's that one was the one that surprised me.
Yeah. Now I don't know if the. I think your question is more hard to answer
It's
because
very hard, bro.
I see Child Sonin talking about that in your YouTube channel, and no, it's not a clean answer. I don't know what's happened.
I can I tell you what I think happened. I think the world um, went to another speed of development, and I think U.S. wrestling. The Hey, I'm back.
You okay?
I don't. Yeah, I don't know what happened. We always so back to when we get older. I notice one thing: we get wiser. It sounds very cliche, but we know more. Our experience. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to teach my son how to wrestle and how to fight, and he likes it. And he's becoming pretty tough, but it's true.
What's
We
the
get
age of your son now?
14, 14.
Wow, good. And
And he has 18.
he trained judo.
He did, yeah. He trained 8 years judo. He took 2 years off now to do some other sports, and now he's going to go back to judo probably or to wrestling. But the wrestling gym we have is very far from here with traffic, so it's very hard to get him there. But he was very good at judo, and he's a good boxer. I taught him how to box, and I teach him wrestling all the time, which he all the time. Well, not anymore, but up to a year ago, he used to test me all the time, and every time I go, "Wow, Dad, I can't get you." I said, "You will soon. Soon enough, you're gonna get everybody." So, but it's part of it. But I think it's very hard for wrestlers, especially wrestlers. Um, Once you're out, it, you miss it. But for most wrestlers, I think when you stop wrestling, you just move to something else, and that's usually eating. So so we eat a lot, but that's. But for you, so you're 43 now. You're coaching.
Yes.
Do you want to wrestle anymore? Do you want to wrestle in any competitions anymore?
Me fighting? No, no
No,
more.
no. Okay, so you're like me. Yeah.
Now I very focus on my students, on my. Of course, I do wrestling every day because I show the guys how to do a duck, how to do a single, run the pipe, body lock, and throws. So I do wrestling every day, but no more because of my body. After two class with lifting people, in the next day, very my body is broken.
Is broken. My
Yeah,
body is so broken. My knees, when I go upstairs, I can hear like cracking in my knees, but this is something
I
I'm
have a
proud of.
I have a friend that is say that my body is okay because his body is cracking, like you say, because I can do Hindu squats. You know, Hindu squats.
Yeah, yeah. You can do them
I can, yeah, I can do 100 with no stop.
in a row. Phew. At 43, that's very, very good. Especially your
Yeah,
weight. You're a bigger guy too.
yes, yes, I can do 100. Of course, I do 20, pause, more 10, more 20, more 10, and go. My knee is okay.
Actually, Hindus. So my knee, I could do it if my heart would allow. But my problem is my knees make this cracking noise like you're opening a door. Like people look, it's so funny, but it's from wrestling, from shooting all the time. But
You you but you don't do lift weight?
well, I used to. I can't lift now. I'm not allowed to lift anything above 5 kilos because of my aorta. So actually, this morning, it's interesting in the end of the day, I think everyone's going to have their problems in life, medical, and we're all going to deal with it. Some people be the heart, some people be, God forbid, cancer, some people be dementia. So when we deal with it, we need to keep our head up high, and we need to just, it's
I
life.
think
God tells us.
I think for you the best choice for you in the future after your doctor say
Hmm.
for you, oh, you okay, go to the swimming.
Actually, they say swimming, and they said swimming, bicycling, and tennis. Man,
Yeah,
I am the worst.
but
I am.
swimming you in the swimming you can work your muscles.
I think
You
swimming is
know,
what I'd probably do. Yeah, I
yeah,
think it's great.
because tennis is good, bike is good, but it's a work only your lower body.
Yeah,
You
I
need to
agree.
work your upper body, your back, your lower back, because you have it. You
I'm a big guy.
in the swimming, the the posture of your body every time when you're swimming, the pressure, good pressure in the lower and the abs in your core is very good, and you are working your gas, working your stamina, working your. I think swimming is a good good workout for a former athlete.
I think you're right. That's actually that's what the surgeons always say, and I think that's probably the route I'll go. I thought of doing maybe some boxing, but once again, I'm not allowed to get hit in the area. I don't know. First, let me, I'll tell you a funny story, Alemao. So I went to go see the doctor, the surgeon, and I was a little bit kind of nervous because they're gonna open the chest and see the heart. So right before the doctor's office, there was a massive painting of a guy's chest open with the heart, and I go, "Oh my god!" You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, when you go there, you realize these guys know what they do. Just like you wrestle, I wrestle, they know surgery, so it's just part of it. The only thing kind of, I mean, I don't know. I'll still, yeah. I wish I could go back, but it's probably not going to happen. But my son will. I'll live through my son. I'll live through watching the UFC and the World Championships of UWW. So, Alama, you also. I remember you did. I think karate, some like hardcore, very hardcore karate
I did,
for a while.
of course, I did jiu-jitsu for 10 years. I did karate Kyokushin karate for
Yeah,
3 years. I did kickboxing for 2 years, and I did box for 3 years. I, of course, all this with a no-stop wrestling.
yeah. I remember. I saw you doing
And
because in Brazil you have a
wrestling base, and it changed the other style. Keep wrestling and karate, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, and kickboxing. The last time I was training Muay Thai because I need to know, and I like to know. I like to understand the possibility to mix because I need to know how to pass the wrestling movement with a Muay Thai guy, how to pass the wrestling movement for a Jiu-Jitsu guy. Of course, my Jiu-Jitsu is my second martial arts because I
yeah,
start my of course wrestling and jiu-jitsu here for me, not about
for sure.
competition, about my soul. I'm a wrestler, uh, but it's the last time I was training Muay Thai, man, it's the best thing the best thing I did in the 3 years because open my mind, and about kick, about knee on the clinch, about elbows. It's very good elbows to. Might I have the best elbows? How to use the elbows? But think about Muay Thai clinch with the wrestling clinch using the elbows. You
It's
know,
very dangerous. Yeah, yeah. I agree. I
because
I
in
remember I
Muay
was
Thai you will use with a simple way. like this, right? Yeah, double collar
The
tie
plum.
and elbow, knee. In a wrestling clinch, you can put a hook, control the wrist, and elbow. You know,
Yeah.
underhook,
Randy Couture
control the
style.
wrist, yeah, and elbow. Double, control the wrist and elbow. And we don't have this in Muay Thai. And what you we and we don't have elbow in wrestling.
Yeah. No, you're right.
So
I think it's a very good mix. Very good mix.
yeah, elbow is a simple thing, but with for wrestling is a five, maybe six position you can use. And so is a more position that you can use the same elbow, right?
Okay, got you. So you're saying, okay, I understand what you're saying, because in Muay Thai you have the plum, which is the double, basically the double grab behind the neck.
Yeah.
But in wrestling, you're right, you can do it, especially in Greco. That I mean, I remember the first time I saw Randy Couture really using dirty boxing. I was just like, I was so happy. I was seeing him nail the guy. I was like, that's how you do it, man. And my friend said, oh, what is he doing? I said, that's wrestling, man. You know, the because the clinch work is, I think, the real power there. You know,
Yeah.
Everton, what do you want? What do you want to tell the audience about? How can they find you? How can they? I mean, what do you have going on right now that you would like the audience to know?
You can the people can find me at Instagram, Alemão do Wrestling. It's a Alemão. It's a Brazilian name. It's a German, all right. But the right name is Alemão do Wrestling at Instagram. And now I have a TikTok. I have a TikTok. I follow you, and the TikTok it's Alemão do Wrestling too. It's the same, and the people can follow me at TikTok and Instagram with the same name, Alemão do Wrestling.
Fantastic. Alemao, I want to say thank you very much for coming on the podcast. It's been a real pleasure.
Man, I'm waiting for that opportunities for a long time. I one day I hope to know you personally.
Me too. One day I'll come down to Sao Paulo and we're going to have
Of,
churrascaria.
yeah, of course, for sure. If you come to Brazil, the best place to go is a barbecue, Brazilian barbecue.
For sure. Como cerveza, you know, it's going to be good, you know?
Man, be careful. Do that process with your health and come
Yeah.
back strong to and we can do that. Or I
Obrigado.
go or I go to you to train with you and Hanok.
Oh, you would love it. You would love it, my friend. Um, so for this episode of Grapplezilla podcast, thank you very much for coming. We're gonna have Alemao on again, and I'm gonna do a lot of videos on Alemao on my Instagram and YouTube in the future because he's got great stuff. And grab through a tap, and if you can like or tell other people to listen to the podcast, it always helps. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Josh.